First question is, how to stay confident even with the possible loss of job. Okay, so this is from Amy in Singapore. And it's a very important question right now because how do you stay confident even with the possible loss of job? Confidence is a little bit different than certainty. You don't want to be confident in without clarity of a situation because that leads to bigger distress and bigger anxiety. For instance, if you find out that 80% of the people are going to be losing their job in your company, you're most likely going to be losing your job. But you can't just you can't just blindly be like, but I'm confident. I will stay confident. Why? Because it shatters when you lose your job. Confidence comes when you have some type of clarity, right? Or you understand the situation much better. You need more information and data. Confidence is a little bit different because you might be losing your job. The bigger thing to get confidence is preparing for that. One of the hardest parts of losing your job is when people are unprepared, right? And this is kind of what's happened all around the world is most countries have not been prepared to handle a pandemic. And because of that, a lot of people are suffering and a lot of people are dying too. But if we understand this very carefully, when it comes to us losing our job, we need to prepare ourselves for that. Confidence is not really an issue at this time. Because staying positive is not confidence, right? Staying positive is not confidence, right? Confidence is having like assurance, like, yes, this is going to work out, this is going to work out. But usually confidence comes with some type of experience. Example, if you've never played badminton before, I'm using badminton as an example because I'm in Southeast Asia. Everyone plays badminton, right? If you start badminton for the first time, you don't have confidence when you play someone who's been playing for like 10 years or a national player, right? There's no confidence. If you did have confidence, then that's false confidence because you're going to get killed. So what happens is confidence builds as you experience and do things. But if you've never been in a situation of losing your job, it's very hard to have confidence in it. But what we can have confidence in is my reaction to it, right? What is my response to it? And this is why more than trying to stay confident, you want to get yourself in a good position where you can be ready, right? You want to be prepared for whatever happens and whatever comes. And people do need to know is, yeah, a lot of people are going to be losing their job and many people are going to be in the same situation. But what can I do to respond to that challenge more than mood control, freaking out, feeling incompetent? Oh, was it because I was terrible? I'm not a very good worker. Oh, I could have done this. Oh, no, right? No, one of the things is you want to be able to understand the response that you need, and many people are going to be going through it together. And that's why a lot of people need good support groups, right? And I talked in other programs before about how to deal with the stress and anxiety. And, there's a lot of different things we can do, but confidence is a difficult thing unless you've already had experience with changing jobs or experiencing a difficult time and overcoming it. So, confidence is not something that you're not looking for the confidence. You're looking for clarity of the situation because most situations you feel anxious and anxiety is when you have limited information and you don't know enough, and that's when you kind of freak out and you start panicking and such. But we want to be in a situation where do some research. What do I do in a situation where I've just lost my job? What's some things I can do? And of course, the most important thing is not so much about not having the job. One thing that we do have security in is a lot of countries now, the government is supporting people who are losing their jobs and supporting people who are not able to work at this moment, and even companies. So don't look too small, because the big picture might be later is they might be rehiring everyone anyways. Just can't pay everyone right now. Okay? So that's Amy in Singapore. That is a great question because this is what a lot of people are going through. Let's go to Ping Mei. Ping Mei. Ping Mei in Penang. Ooh, Penang. Good food, I heard. I got to go visit there sometime. Ping Mei in Penang. How to be certain that the decision I made is the right one. So remember, the only certainty we have is that things are uncertain. Which means that when people always ask me about a job, people are asking about, is this the right decision? And in most cases, the decision is fine as long as it's not the wrong one. And there's like 1 or 2 wrong decisions out of like 1,000. Which basically means, like, you're going to have a problem. Like, say, for instance, you choose a certain job. You should try it out. If you like it, then stick with it. If you don't like it, try something else. There's no such thing as a certainty as in like, oh, this is the one job I was meant to do. It's very rare for people to have that certainty that this is the thing that they've been wanting all their life. So, are you certain that the decision I made is the right one? Really depends what it is. But a lot of times we're testing it and going. And you just want to have the right amount of information and clarity of the situation that you can make the right choice. Because in the end, no one knows literally the right answer. And this is why many people go into prayer, go into meditation, because they want clarity of the situation and that they want to make the best choice that they could make or get the inspiration to make the right choice. So certainty, remember, the thing you want to embrace is uncertainty. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here. But is it going to be like, if I did this, then all of a sudden I lose $10 billion? No, it's not going to be like that. The losses and the gains are going to be on every choice you make. There is a loss and there is a gain. No matter what. It's kind of like this feeling like, have you guys ever been shopping? You look for great deals and you buy, like, say, oh, I get the phone. It's like, oh, I did all my research. I want this phone. And you buy the phone. But for some reason, every time you pass another phone shop, you look in to see if there's another better deal. It's really weird. We just do that, right? Because there's that some level of uncertainty in your mind. But we just got to know is most of your decisions are not like life-changing and threatening. Most of them aren't. Yeah, when you become a nurse or you become a doctor or become an engineer or sanitation engineer, right, or someone who works as a counselor, yeah, a lot of these cases, there's always going to be pros and cons. Some of it's going to be pro is more money, some is less money, more happiness, more fulfilling. Yeah, there's lots of different things that we go through, and it's about what you really want more than anything else. But once again, we have to embrace uncertainty more than anything else. We have to embrace the uncertainty, right? That, yeah, it might not be right, but with all the information that I have, let me go check it out. And then after I check it out, it might not be right, and I could check something else out too. But in most cases, there's very few things that you have to get right. Like, in those movies where you have to get the code for the bomb, and if you get it wrong in one shot, then everyone dies. No, that's nothing really works like that. There's very few things. Okay, let's take a look at Joshua. Joshua in KL, in Kuala Lumpur. Here's in Malaysia. Not John. It's John in Singapore. John in Singapore says, should I always plan for uncertainty then? And the answer is yes and no. It depends on how important it is and how big it affects your life. For instance, you should always plan for uncertainty of career, because there's no guarantee you're going to keep your job. There can always be something that happens, which means that's why across the board, they say you should have enough money saved to live for 3 months without working. Because generally speaking, in America, it takes about 3 months for you to find another career. No, we're not talking part-time jobs. Not part-time jobs. We're talking career. It takes about 3 months. And that's why they say generally, you should have enough money to live off for 3 months. Enough to eat, enough to pay your rent and your bills, right? And travel in your car, your gas, your insurance, whatever it is, 3 months. So you have to kind of prioritize the things that would be not threatening, but life-changing. Because a job is life-changing if you lose your job, and that's something you should be preparing for. Preparing for uncertainty, like I went to Sunway Chateau, and they don't have organic oolong. No! Yeah, I don't need to prepare for that, right? Because I'll just look at the menu and say, well, just give me the charcoal milk tea. Yeah, I'll just have that instead then, right? So there are some things that don't really matter, and there's some things that do have a bigger impact on your life, and you should kind of sit down and write the things that if you lost them, it would have a big impact in my life. Some things are financial, some things are mental, and some things are spiritual. And these are the things that we need to kind of prepare our minds for too. Thank you, John, for that question in Singapore. Let's go over to Joshua. Now, Joshua in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, says, will God tell me what will happen in the future if I pray about it? Interesting question, and we just actually read the verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 14. In Ecclesiastes 7:14, it basically says, and no one can know their future. No one knows their future. So what does that mean? It doesn't actually literally mean that God will never tell you your future, because there are times when God will tell you, like very rarely you'll see God telling you about the future. And this is especially for people who are spiritual. There is one certainty There's only one certainty when it comes to believing in God and people who believe in God, is that the ending is certain. Like if you do this right, then the ending is going to be you're going to go to heaven. That is a certain thing, right? And it's very few things that God will tell you about your future. God can inspire you for not long term, right? Long term is like basically going to heaven in the end. But God will also give you direction more than telling you about your future. So if you pray about it, the bigger thing that we need is direction. Because honestly, I don't think anyone likes to be told exactly what to do, and everyone has a different character and personality that even if there's a certain direction, everyone's going to take different routes to it. So God is not going to tell you exactly what will happen in the future, but he'll say things a little bit more general, as in, if you go this direction, you'll be blessed. What does blessing mean? We're not sure. It could be a blessing in your heart where you're no longer anxious. It could be a blessing financially. It could be a blessing finding a wife. It could be a blessing of moving to a new place or finding new friends. It could be multiple things. But it really the biggest thing that God does for us, it is giving us direction more than anything else. And that's something that human beings, we actually want that more than anything else. Is there a direction I need to go? And then in that direction, we find a way. Right? And even though we know we're going that direction, there's still lots of uncertainty of getting to that point. It's like I said about Abraham Lincoln. Can you imagine having a nervous breakdown and then becoming the president of the United States? It's possible. Well, like there's Donald Trump. He was like the reality show magnet, right? Genius, or whatever you call it. You're fired. And then he became president. And he's not the first actor or mogul that became president. Long time in my days, there's a guy named Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan was also an actor before he became president, right? So is not something that is like so far off. But just understand that when God speaks to us, for those of you that are spiritual, more than telling you exactly what's going to happen, he's going to give you direction. Because a lot of what's going to happen and the magnitude of what happens or the level of blessing that happens is dependent upon what you do with it, right? Or how much you put in, or how much you actually, really try to do this, right? So I hope that, that'll be the last question for today. And I hope that a lot of you got a little bit more help with dealing with this uncertainty. And I hope that each and every day, just kind of prepare yourselves, not just physically for the day, but there's a lot of things you have to prepare mentally, and a lot of things you also have to prepare spiritually too. So thank you so much once again for the question today. Joshua, John, Pingmei, Amy from Singapore and Malaysia. I hope you guys had a wonderful time, and we'll see you again next week. See you guys later.